Very good. Very good. All right. Everybody says they're ready for this. So let's do this. Obviously, we always have to do this. We're going to cover a few webinar basics, and today we're going to go outside of that first one, which is we'll cover both Usign and GIFsign. We may mention them, but for the most part today we're going to talk about LogoZign, and I'm going to give you some rationale for that and give you some reasons for that in just a little bit. And we'll get to that in a moment. Remember this, as we go, all your support questions have to go to support. Make sure they're support questions. Sometimes we have things that show up in support that are not actually support questions, and that we do our best to try to help, but make sure that, yes, Dana, you will. But we try to do our best to answer questions that have to do with how does the platform work. If you're having a problem, that's a support question. If you want to know how do I drag and drop this, that's what we can help you with here. So make sure that you keep your questions on topic. Make sure that they relate to today's topic. And the replays are available in support, but always give us some time to get them up there. It's going to take a little while. We edit now the first part of the video, so we get the names and all of that, which is not important to people, and we have some dead time space, and so we clean that up, make sure that we make that work. So that's how we address that, and it takes just a little while to do that. And then Rose goes through and gives you a little agenda, so you can take a look at the agenda and find out if that replay is something that is going to work for you. So always wait until about Tuesday before that replay is available in support, because there's a little bit of work that goes behind that. So give us a chance to be able to do that. And then always refer to the document that's provided by Gloria, and she just posted that so that you can see that. And that document gives you some of the most frequently asked questions and answers for both Usign and GIFsign. Okay? So very important that you use that document. We keep it updated when there's a new update. We'll let you know. But we think that it's important for you to have that at your fingertips, because the same questions get asked frequently, and we just thought it was really easy to answer those in a Q&A document. Okay? So having said all of that, let's get started and talk about a little bit of things. I always like to give a little shout out to somebody when I see them do some amazing design. Notice that this person is brand new, and she was able to create this design. This is just a beautiful, very professional looking design. And so I always like to give a little shout out. Make sure that you go into the Usign community and see the things that people are creating, and do a good job of just giving them some love and some attention, and some encouragement and some support for being a member of our group. All right, the next thing is Rose has posted a little cinematograph in the GIFsigners community, and this was a really nice little cinematograph that she did. But one of the things I wanted to point out on this was check out the mock-up that's around the outside of this. This is just a really, really good example of the thing we talk about a lot, is that you'll find, if you're a member of the mock-up club, you'll find mock-ups that enhance. They don't create, but they enhance the design of your GIFs and make them look better. Okay, so make sure that you check that out. I think you'll find that to be very helpful to you. And we may even talk about cinemagraphs just a little bit if we get an opportunity today. I thought this was pretty cool, and we are down to just a couple of hours now. And so, yes, we're going to beta. LogoZign beta is going to be available today, and I have seen a lot of buzz about this in the community, and almost all of it has been amazing. And I will say this. Keep this in mind. The purpose is not to create a new product and leave the other products. For some reason, people get that idea in their head, and we start imagining things, and that's okay. One of the things that happens when you hear an announcement is you start to imagine things with it. But I'll say this: what you're going to see is how we integrate all of these platforms together, and how important they are in your overall design process. And I'll talk about that at length in just a little bit. But we are always going to, as Gloria says, keep supporting our existing programs. Nothing's going to be left behind. We're working hard to make sure that all of those things are as integrated as possible and that you just keep having expanded horizons of things that you can create, okay? The next thing is we have created a community for the Logozyme beta users. And so I will give you I said I would give you, Gloria, do you have the link for that? If you have the link for that, would you please post that for me? But we'll give you the link for that. It is in the Udesigners group, and that is the link right there. So make sure that you join. If you're a beta user of Logozyme, make sure that you join that group, and it will help you. Now, I'm going to stop right here and say something that's really important. If you are not a beta user of Logozyme, when we're talking about this, you're going to see value of this from an overall design perspective. Okay, this is not intended to pitch to you Logozyme. This is intended to increase your skills and abilities creating designs. And we'll talk about that at length as we go through today's webinar. All right, does that sound good to everybody? You're all on the same page with me. Even if you're not a beta tester, that will be fine. We'll help you. We'll help you get through this, okay? Eve says that my audio keeps going out. Is anybody else having an issue with the audio? You might try refreshing Eve and see if that takes care of that. Okay, good. Looks like everybody else is not having an issue. All right, good deal. I did have to pause a minute ago, but that was all. You will get all of the stuff that you'll need today, okay? Stefan, there'll be emails released today, big announcement, and everything will be good, okay? Somebody tell Eve how she can refresh her page and get the sound to clear up. Would you do that for me, please? Because if I'm breaking up, she may not be able to hear that. So the good news is this product, the beta version of this, is going to be released today. So let me walk you through some things here. You're going to get in your members area, as soon as you have access to that, you'll get in your members area a video that briefly shows you how this works. It's a great video, and I'm going to play that for you in just a little bit. Yeah, the group doesn't require anything other than your password and your email, but this, the members group here will require you to do to have access to the beta version. But you'll see a little video here. This video will walk you through rapidly the process and give you a rapid overview of that. I'm going to give you a different kind of, not a different, I'm just going to give you an overview of it in just a little bit as well. Okay, but this is right here in this agenda on your right hand side. You will see some things, and down at the bottom is the video. This is on under how it works, and you can play the video right there, which I'll do for you in just a moment. The next thing is, I also want you to see that there's an agenda, and we're going to go through this agenda in a little bit. I want you to understand that there's a significant amount of development going on right now. You're going to see some really cool stuff when you get to this. And when I open up the Logozyme platform, you're going to see kind of a direction that that Uzyme and all of its member properties are taking, and I think you'll be quite fascinated by that. This is reflective of some things that we've been talking about for a long time, having to do with design formula and a lot of other things that will really help you to become a better designer and give you the tools that you need in order to do a great job, not only for yourself, but also for your clients, okay? The next thing I want you to see is, and pay very careful attention to this, when under the Get Started button, you have there'll be a download button, and that download button says that you can also download the version with the mascot feature, which will allow you to upload your picture. You can use your picture in your logo if you chose to do that. But understand this, that mascot version, if you try to go back to an icon, if you switch from mascot to icon, it's a little buggy and it needs to be refreshed when it does that. So make sure that you understand that that's part of what happens when you do a beta version, okay? There's going to be things that are not going to work perfectly at the very beginning. And so we'll try to point those out to you as we go and make sure that you understand that. But again, on this page here, on this page, Al, we release that information as we have it, okay? And when we have that information available, we will be sure and let you know what it's going to be, both here on the webinars and also in the webinars and also in the groups, okay? So, very important note here. For some reason, this is something that's been going through people's heads. Logozyme will be converted as a web app by the end of December. This is downloadable version is temporary for the purpose of the beta. Okay. And so, yes, when you are able to access this beta version, then this will be your opening screen, and you'll see these things over here on the right-hand side, okay? The next thing is, I know you're all dying to see this thing, and so I'm going to give you a little sneak preview right here, and I'm going to show you how this thing works in just a minute, okay? But I have an interesting poll for you before we get to that. So help me with this poll. This is going to help you as well. And this is something that goes through my head. What goes through your mind very first when you hear about a product being released? What's the first thing that goes through your mind when a new product is released? Give me one of those three answers. The very first thing, the reason why I couldn't say all of the above is because it couldn't be the first thing if it was all of the above. Looks like most people are asking how it works. Most people say that the first thing goes through their mind is how it works. Tim, you hit the first thing that I think of. How can I sell this? I want to know, how can I sell it? And it's always important to me, how can I sell this? Because if I'm going to invest in it, if I'm going to invest the time in learning it, I need to get a return on it. And so that's always the first thing that goes through my mind. But everybody else usually focuses on how does it work and how's it going to benefit me. Now, let me explain something to you. The reason why I always think about how can I sell this immediately is because I learned how to work it real fast if I can sell it. That always puts a deadline on me, and it makes things happen faster. But that's just me, and I understand that. But that's the reason why the first thing I think of is, how do I sell this? But we're going to talk about how does it work and how's it going to benefit you and how does it fit with the other platforms that we have, because I believe that that's really important. Okay, so thank you for your input on that. We'll talk about that in the days and in the weeks to come. All right. The next thing, make sure that you get the users group. Gloria has posted the link for that. And so we let that cat out of the bag a little bit early. I want to show you a couple of things I thought was kind of cool. You can do this with the logo sign. You can mock up a demo. And I thought the mock-up of the demo was pretty cool. And Mary said a really cool thing. I want to know how this is going to make my workload easier. And that's a good point too. Okay. And if the, I don't know, Gloria, can you answer, is there still, do we still have room? Yes, that's what I thought. I think that the beta version is closed for right now, but it will be open back up good. All right, now, next thing is Templatology. Lots of conversation about templates in the group this week and lots of conversations about things. But I remembered something when I opened up the templates today and I looked at this and I went, I forget to talk about this sometimes. And it's something I forget to talk about, and it's something I get asked about a lot. And that's 3D lettering. And so we'll quickly cover some 3D lettering today and some cool things. And this is two really good versions of 3D lettering that happened to be in the templates, and it just reminded me of something. And it's a last week we talked about templates, or last week we talked about types, typology, and how that those font types are important, and 3D is one of them. And so we don't want to forget that, okay? The next thing is, this comes up a lot, and it's having to do with image handling. And the question gets asked, how come my image is pixelated? And so we'll talk about that briefly before we close today as well. And then some tips and tricks, and we'll talk about that. We'll also take your questions. So as always, if you have questions, make sure that you put those question marks or cues in front of the sentence instead of at the end of it, so it's easier for us to identify that. Okay? All right, are you all ready to take a look at Logozyme? Let's pull this up and we'll take a look at this today and see how that's going to benefit you as we go. So give me a second to make a switch in my screen here. And for some reason, the webinar platform gets a little confused when I do this, and I haven't figured out why. And it's just started this. All right. That started 2 weeks ago. That when we refresh, when I switch screens, it creates a problem. So stick with me. I'll get the right screen up here. We'll be good to go. All right, are you seeing my screen that is the logo screen now? Yes, you are. Okay, good. All right, let's take a look at this. Good. Gloria says that it looks like they're taking orders at this time, so that's good to know. Let's go back here to the very beginning. I'll show you how easy it is to use this. I took my own logo. Okay, I took my own information and I dropped it in here because that was the only thing I could think about this morning was how's this going to be for me? And not trying to be selfish, but just trying to say, hey, there's I want to see what my value here. Okay. So I looked at various different, and I can go through here and I can take a look at, and are y'all seeing the difference down here at the bottom? We got a variety of fonts as we scroll through here. And as I scroll through this, I can pick a font that looks good. And so I can take a font that I think is going to work for me. And I'll pick a font here. Let's just, that one, for example. We'll take that for, nah, I don't like that at all. So the good thing is you can find a font that works for you. And we'll do this. I'll just take this one right here because it's simple for right now. William, stick with us. We're talking about design today and how this product is going to help you with your design. So stay with us. Like I said when we started, there's some things that all of these platforms integrate together, and I'm going to show you how that integration is going to benefit you. If all you have is Uzyme, you're going to see me demonstrate Uzyme in just a little bit. So stay with us. I think you'll understand. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to do here, I can add a slogan to this. And I can put my slogan in here. And now I can add that at the bottom here. The next thing is I can pick a color. I can make that color red. And notice this is inversed, so I can flip it around like that. I can make that color red. I can make it blue. Blue is my favorite color here for my logo. So I can do that. I can change the symbol. This was what was cool. And I was like, this is going to be so awesome because I can take, Brian, there's over a million different icons that's in the platform. So stay with us, okay? The the cool thing is I could just type in here what I was looking for. If I wanted that to be a quote instead, I can type in quote. It's got an incredibly powerful search engine. I can do this. Then I can change the container, and I can put it just like that. Remove the container from around the outside of it. And then I have a design that looks like this, okay? Now, here's the cool thing. Look down in the lower right-hand corner, and you can see how this looks in a variety of formats. Now, somebody has just pointed out the fact that this looks like it's a little crooked, and I understand that. And remember, this is what happens when you have a beta version, all right? Then these things get out, and then they get adjusted a little bit, okay? But this looks, if you'll also notice when you look here, this looks like it's highly pixelated, but it looks beautiful. I mean, it literally looks beautiful in the finished product. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you do that. Let's go back over here. We'll start with the name. So you see what we did? We put the text in for the name. I do too, and remember this. Joanna just said, "I love the mock-ups. This platform will only become better and better." The mock-ups here just amaze me. I love the mock-up designs for here, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. We're just getting started on this, so keep that in mind as you look at this. And it is as exactly as AC said, this is just going to get better and better. And so you start with the name, you can pick the size. I can increase the size if I wanted to do that. And I can increase the spacing. I can decrease the spacing. I can make that tight. I can make it loose. I can do that in a handwritten format if I wanted to do that. I've just got all kinds of places I can go with this. Okay. I can do that, and I can make the spacing a little tighter on this. Then you go to the slogan. You can leave the slogan there, or you can remove it. If I remove the slogan and I leave it like that, I'll show you some cool things that you can do with that. Now, Joanna says she's already impressed a potential client while playing with it just an hour ago. Yes. There will be more mock-ups available. This is just the tip of the iceberg, okay? And the mock-ups will help you to sell that. I don't know. I'm having so much trouble every time I have to refresh, every time I restart my screen. So we'll play with that in just a minute, okay? All right. Colors. If I want to inverse the color, I can do that. All I have to do is click this button and I get that version right there, okay? That doesn't affect over here, so just keep that in mind as you do that. I can change the symbol. This could be a quote bubble instead. And that quote bubble will give me multiple options here. Look down at the bottom and you'll see the options. If I can get my screen a little bit bigger, doesn't give you any more access there, but you'll see the variety of options that are available here. And I can just click on that, show what that's going to look like. And I can move this around if I want it to be in the front, if I want it to be in the back, if I want it to be at the top or at the bottom. It's real easy to do that. Now I'll show you why that's important. If I'm going to take this and put it inside of a container, I need to make sure that I size this up so that it fits. Let me go back to the symbol. I'm going to flip the symbol to the top. I'll go back out to the name, reduce the size of this, and it's proportionally changing all of it. And I can now put this inside of a container that is a little bit easier, looks a little easier, looks like it fits a little better. Okay, and I may find something else that works here even better than that. We may want to go back out to the symbol and take a look at something a little different. You may want to change these depending upon what your audience is going to be and that type of a thing. I kind of like that right there. Okay. The release time, Terry, was at noon today. So but you will get it. You'll have it. Okay. So that's I have all kinds of options here. Just type in the word that I'm looking for here. Type in a check mark. See what happens when I get that. And I've got check marks. With all kinds of options. So now when we go back over here to the container, I can put a container around the outside of that, and you'll see lots of container options. Are you seeing the container options that we have right there? And you can pick one of these. And when I download this, I'm gonna try for you to be able to see this, okay? Give me a second, I'll pull that image that I just saved up, and you can see it. And you'll see that it looks really good here. Okay, let me find my, let's see if I can switch my screen. I'll see if I can do this without crashing the program this time. And there you have a really nice looking image that you can take to a client and show how that works. That's the reason why I asked it. You think about how you can sell this, then you've got something that you can actually demo to a client and show them what that's going to look like. Okay, so stick with me for a minute. I'm going to do something now. I'm going to have some integration fun. Okay. So let me stop sharing my screen here, pull up the right program here. And what I'm going to do inside of LogoZine is I'm going to, I need you all to be able to see this, don't I? From inside of here, what I want you to see, okay, you're seeing my LogoZine window now. Now, here's where this becomes really important. I can inverse this, all right? This is how important the integration of these platforms become. I can inverse that. I now have that logo design here, and I'm going to save it. Okay. Now I'm going to stop sharing the screen again. I'm going to switch. I have to page through all these, and I apologize for that. I had this, I thought it was important that you see this. Okay, we're going to pick a t-shirt design, okay? Because the question was asked a minute ago about about that lining up correctly. So let's take the logo in the inverse image, which just gives me the blue outline. I'm going to import that here. I think I'll answer your question right now, Stephen. Okay. So now this is my t-shirt canvas. Okay. Put this on transparent. Grab my upload, and let's see if we can answer Stephen's question here about that image being. Where did my image go? As soon as I find the image. Now, that should answer your question, Stephen. I'm going to bring this image in. Do you see here? Now I have the image here, and I can view it like this. Okay? And I can see how this is going to look in my Teespring design. Because the thing to keep in mind is that the purpose of all of these of the platforms is to to integrate these pieces together so that it expands your horizons. It gives you more capabilities. It gives you greater things that you can do as a designer. Okay, so we now have answered Stephen's question. Can you download that as a transparent ping file? And the answer is yes. Eric, the images are scalable. There's not a scalable issue here. The images are going to be scalable. They're 300 DPI. They are PPI, and so there's not going to be an issue there. Okay, so that's how you can take that image now, and I can now use that image anywhere I want to. Okay, I've got this image saved here. I can take the image, and if I'm going to create a Facebook ad or let's just do a Facebook news feed here, and we'll take a Facebook news feed and we'll put something in here that and I can put something in this Facebook image here. Let's just do this because it came up, and I now have an image that I can use for whatever reasons that I might want to do that. I've got the uploaded image right here. And I can put it there like that. So now I have all kinds of capabilities. Creating the logo inside of LogoZine gives me all kinds of opportunities to be able to take that and do something fascinating with it. All right? Something that I really think that you're going to find very, very important. In your designs. Okay? Are you all with me? I can't see the chat box. Let me pull the chat box up here. So, but yes, this logo now as a transparent ping file gives me the ability to be able to do all kinds of cool stuff with it. All right. And I can use it anywhere that I want to. I could have made that background a different color that would be easier to see. And just all kinds of cool stuff that you can do here and this is the part that I don't want anybody to miss. We want you to have the tools that you need in order to do all of the stuff that you would ever want to do from a design standpoint. It was fast and easy for me to create this simple little logo right here and be able to import it into Usign. Now I can do all kinds of cool stuff with it inside of Usign. Does that make sense? Are you all on the same page with me? I want to make sure that we're all connected here. Vernon, the answer is yes. That statement about the mascots, just keep that in mind. That would be treated as a mascot. You can load your own up if you wanted to. Keep in mind that because of Logosign's connection with the Noun project, there is a million different icons that are available. So if you want to use something other than icons, and let me show you what's going to be coming down the road. So let me switch over here and let's go through this agenda. Uploading your own images, that's the question that you just asked. We're going to give some tips to help you out as you go through the platform. You'll see some helpful tips as you go that'll help you create better designs. The ability to nudge icons and text layers. And so this is going to be kind of cool, but this is a future feature. The ability to use your own fonts different than what you find on the platform itself. You're going to get additional logo export options. The questions keep coming up about options because for some reason people are concerned that maybe they're not going to be able to use that image type. The transparent ping images are pretty universal, but we're going to add additional export options. This one is really important, individual color selection. So we'll have the ability to be able to change the color dynamically. So if I want to take my logo, my name, which I had in that case was Eric said, and use my slogan and put that in a different color, that's coming down the road. Okay. So just keep in mind, this is a beta version. You have the privilege of being able to be in on the beta version platform. And so those things are going to happen. Obviously, Tom, not a concern. Just the most important thing to understand is that everything that we do at Usign and all of the related properties, we're going to stay on top of everything, okay? We're going to stay on top of everything, and we're not using Flash in this particular case. We're using Adobe Air in order to drive the platform. Yes, Vernon says he was testing, but he didn't test the mascot download. So just keep that in mind. Remember, we're in the testing stages. The reason why we created the group is so you can ask questions, and each other will all be able to share the things that we're learning as we go, and that will be extremely helpful to you. Okay, I'm checking here to see if there are any questions or comments or things that I need to address. Okay, I'm not sure what your question is, Tom. Are we be able to upload from our files? Maybe we can now. I don't know. That's the mascot question that you just asked. So, or that was just asked. I don't know if you asked it or somebody else did. But yes, that's you'd have to upload that as. And remember, that capability is going to expand as we move through the permeations and integrations of the platform. To answer your question, Tom, I have pulled those images up and I thought that they were amazingly crystal clear. So if you're seeing a little fuzzy, it may just be the webinar. Okay. No, that's okay. We want to make sure everybody's clear and that we're all in a good place here. I'm gonna play this little video for you because I think it's pretty cool. It flashes through all of the things I just kind of fumbled my way through, and so can you hear Bertrand's voice? You're not hearing his voice. Okay. That's part of the problem with trying to play a video inside of this off of a platform like that. So anyhow, make sure that you check out the how it works video. It's about 10 minutes long, and you'll be able to hear the instructions as you go, and you won't hear my voice going, can you hear Bertrand's voice? Because that won't help you at all. Okay, so do you understand that the purpose here is to help us to integrate all of these things into our platforms and create multiple designs? I'm going to switch my screen back one more time. Do you understand how we can use this inside of Usign? How we can take that logo and put it inside of Usign? I want to make sure that y'all understand that. Let me get rid of this image here. Make sure that that's clear to everybody, because I think sometimes people think that these are completely just different platforms, and they're not. One of the things that we try very hard to do is to help you to understand that the whole purpose is to integrate the platforms together and make sure that they work and that you have the things that you need in order to do the design. Now, keep in mind that because this is a beta program, and we're in the beta testing version of this, that there's going to be things, and the big question that comes up all of the time, and for some reason this question always gets asked, can you give us a timeline? Can't give you a timeline. And let me tell you the reason why we can't give you a timeline on when's this going to be released. It'll be or when's this feature going to be added, because this is more complicated than building a street from one end to the other. Because when you're building a street from one end to the other, you add the curbs, it's okay. When you add the sidewalks, it's all right. When you add the stop sign, it's okay. But this is more like the human body. And keep in mind, Dizzy Dean's pitching career was ruined because he got a line drive on the toe. So don't forget that it takes a little testing, and we get to the point where those things have to be tested out before they can be released into the public. And so you see what we can do with this? Do some really cool stuff like this. All right, this becomes my t-shirt design. I can take that and integrate that into those platforms. Now let me switch screens again and show you one more thing that we can do. All right, are y'all with me? Yes. The answer, Christopher, is yes. Let me switch back to that platform, and I'm going to address some of those questions, okay? I used to be able to switch these dynamically, and now I can't. So give me a minute. It's giving me an error message. Let me get the error message fixed. There we go. Should be able to see the logos on screen now. All right. This is how you create the ping background, how you remove the background, okay? When I switch this right here, it gives me a transparent background. And so now I've got the lettering on a transparent background rather than as we had it before. Okay. So, excuse me. Let me show you. I'm looking at these questions here. Hang on just a second. There's a question I need to address. No, you have the current version of Usign, I promise. So if you're using Usign right now and you log into usign.com, you're using the current version because it's a cloud program. All right, that question comes up a lot. Now, Christopher, I think I've got your question here. Your question was, and I'm over here on color. Your question, when I'm here, if I want to make this, if I want to make that blue and transparent on a transparent background, I click on inverse right there, and that just flips the image. So I'm now putting this, while this is on a white background, it's the only way it can be seen. It will show up as a transparent background, which is what I put in the Usign platform just a minute ago. Okay. All of the fonts are there. You have everything. You have everything. So if I go to the name, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but you have a gazillion of those styles. Gazillion is an official word, by the way. And all I have to do is select one of these. And I have that font. All right. So you have everything that you're supposed to have. Joanna, that's a good question. Let me see if that is a possibility. And I don't see a white option here, which would be a little bit difficult to. There, John's answered the question. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. John has spent more time with this than I have. I actually had access to this about an hour and a half before we went live with the webinar today. So I'm learning this as fast as you are. The way you tell your font styles is you click in here and you just pick the one you want. Okay. If you need more than that, we don't know what that font style is. So okay, so next thing, let's do this. Right here, let me take let me go to a container here. We'll change the container because I want you to see how to do that. We can change this container like this. All right, notice it changes it on top of this mock-up. So if I want to demonstrate this, y'all know where I'm going to go with this, right? If I want to demonstrate this, to my client, I can take and download these various ways in which it's laid out. All right. I can flip through this and I can download each one of these images, and guess where I'm going to put them in order to demonstrate them to my client. Who knows where I'm going to put those? What am I going to do with them to demonstrate them to my client? Does anybody know where I'm going to put these? Grady says a flyer in Usign. That's one possibility. Gene says a PDF. Somebody else says a smart mockup. That's actually these are like smart mockups right here. James, bingo, you hit it. I won't put them in a GIF. And I'm going to take each of those images. I'm going to size them so that they work beautifully inside of a GIF. And I'm going to use that as a mock-up in a GIF because I can send that to the client without any issues. It'll sit there and play through all of those images. They'll have a chance to see all of those. And so, again, we're integrating all of those platform pieces together. We will take, I've got a mock-up right here of my logo design. I can take that logo design, put it into Usign, create a template for a t-shirt. I can take those t-shirts and put them in a GIF and demonstrate them to my client. There's all kinds of things that you can do with that. And I want you to understand that what we're doing is we're taking those pieces and putting them together so that you have this amazing platform that you can operate from. The ability to be able to create logos and then use those logos inside of Usign. The ability to be able to create a mock-up inside of Usign and then put my logo on top of it, or to take the mock-ups from my logo designer and put them into GIFs. All of those pieces fit together, Grady. That's why we do this, is so that you've got an opportunity to understand I've got everything that I need in order to give amazing designs to my customers. And that's the reason why I asked you a while ago, what's the first thing that goes through your head? See, the first thing that goes through my head is, how do I sell this? So I start thinking about, how is this going to help me to be able to position this so that we have exactly what people are looking for? And for those who thought, I'm going to miss out on understanding Usign and GIFsign if I listen to somebody talk about LogoZine, no, you're not. They all fit together. All those pieces go together. The purpose of putting them together is so that you've got this amazing design platform that gives you the tools that you need. And Gloria said, yes, Berkshire creating an entire suite of products that will be able to be used together so you can have the business to the best potential possible. Perfect statement, Gloria. Thank you for saying that. Joanna, you know what my other statement is about selling. Sell what you got. Well, what we got keeps growing. And that's and honestly, this is what we're doing, creating a suite of products. I think sometimes people think that they're disconnected. They're very, very connected. The purpose for GIFsign was to connect your designs in Usign. And we've done all kinds of stuff with that. I mean, we've literally done all kinds of stuff with that over the last 6 or 7 months as that platform has grown, and we've shown you how to take those pieces and put them together and create images and see how those pieces fit together, and you can create amazing GIFs with that. You can demonstrate that. I showed you how to take a GIF and use it with an infographic. So for the first time, you've actually got something from an infographic that's easy to read and easy to make sense out of. And that's my whole point, was that we wanted to show you on this launch day, and many of you will have access. If you don't already, you will have access to it very soon. And when you have that, Tim said, I just opened LogoZine, and man, this is exciting. I'm so glad I got it. I have a whole suite now to play with, and time to make some money. And that's my point. We want you to take the designs and not just have something that's cool to make your own cute little logo, but something that you can actually build a business around. Now, what you do with that's entirely up to you. You may not be able to build a business around it, but the tools are there in order to do that. And you could take this, download these, put them in a GIF. Now you've got something that you can play on your website. How about that? Or something that you could play in some place that would allow you to be able to demonstrate your capabilities to a client. And you can, this would look cool on a t-shirt. I showed you the t-shirt design a minute ago, but I can change that container around and do other things with that container. I could change the symbol around, and maybe I wanted to do this. Maybe what I wanted to show you. Lisa, somebody's asking a question. Oh, Christopher's asking a question about the scalpel in the background removal tool. And the background removal tool is amazing. It really is. And so Questions are coming so fast, it's hard for me to keep up with here. I apologize. The scalpel removal tool, actually covered that 2 weeks ago. I believe it was 2 weeks ago in the webinar. And so if you'll look in support, you should be able to get access to that. Look at the agenda, and I think you'll see that. I think that'll help you, Christopher. I think so. Keep in mind, Lisa, that we're still in the early stages, and so you have to search it by question here, just like I did here. Okay. I'm looking to see if there's a way to turn that off. That was a question that was just asked. So, all right, one more thing. If I wanted to use a different logo for different applications, I can actually do that, okay? I've got, this one's conversational. That one's conversational. This would be what would happen if I was doing a seminar. Yeah, I don't see it turning off either, Joanna, so thank you. This is if I was doing it by Zoom. I mean, you've got all of these, you got all these capabilities here, and I can actually make those fit whatever I want. So yeah, take a look, Christopher, and see if that helps. If not, if not, we address that frequently, and when we address it, that's a good option. If I turn that to 0, it goes away. Good, very good. Thank you for that, Vernon. I appreciate that. Like I said, we're all at the point right now, and that we're just learning how this is gonna how it's gonna function for us. So thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate that. All right, I'm looking here carefully to see if there's anything else we need to address before we leave. All right, Christopher, it is following. There's some things that sometimes you have to start on the opposite end. Okay, but we'll try to help you with that later. Okay. All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate you all joining us today. I think that this is an exciting day. It's an exciting day for Uzine. It's an exciting day for our people and our groups. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate. I'm so excited I got a chance to share this and be the person who got a chance to share this out. I can't tell you how much that does for me. So if you will do this for me, have a good time. Learn the platform. Come back next week, and we'll dive into Uzine, GIFZine, and maybe even talk about LogoZine. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you, and I want you to have a great weekend. Okay.